On behalf of the school board, I want to welcome everybody back to the 2021 school year. Probably it's an understatement to say that this will represent our most challenging year ever in public education, but I'm very confident that we're up to this challenge. The district has been very deliberate in our reopening plans, and on the district website is the reopening plan itself, 60-some pages. Also, at the conclusion of my brief message this morning will be a video as well that will show a series of videos on our safety plan as it affects our entire school district. As you're aware, the Commissioner of Education issued an executive order that says that one of the options that a school district must do is open 5 days a week with brick and mortar. So we've got three choices here in our school district. The number one is the traditional school, number two is My School Online, and number three is Mosaic. Right now, approximately 53% of our students have chosen the traditional route, and 47% of our students have taken the virtual route. Of that 47%, 2% are Mosaic, and about 45% will be doing the My School Online. I recommended to the school board, and they voted and approved it, that we delay our reopening date for 2 weeks to August 24th. This would give us more time to really adequately prepare for our schools, to make sure our school centers are safe and clean, to make sure that the supplies that are coming in have been delivered, to make sure that our students have the computers that they're going to need to work on at home, as well as to give you all, our teachers and staff members, extra time for training, because that's going to be crucial as we go into this year, that you're adequately prepared for it. I want to be very, very honest, and I wrote some notes down here. I think right now we're all experiencing some anxiety, some stress, some fear, and even some anger. And if I'm honest with you, I've experienced all of those emotions myself. We've all faced personal challenges. We know people that have been laid off. We may have lost loved ones. Some of us, some of our staff members, some of our administrators, were infected with the COVID virus, and fortunately have recovered from that. And others are, right now going through that process and going through quarantine. So these really present a lot of challenges to us in our personal lives, and we got to support each other through that. And then there's the professional challenge. As we're coming back into our school centers, are our school centers safe, and are we going to be ready to take on our children and to be able to provide a really quality instructional delivery system in a safe area? And I believe that we are. I think the key to this is going to be the adult behavior. And there's research and there's studies to show that really how we react as adults is really going to control what happens in our school centers. The U.S. Surgeon General has this quote that says, #COVID stops with me. I believe one of the biggest threats to our school centers will be the threats that we as the adults bring into our schools. So let me tell you what I mean by that. If we're not practicing the social distancing, the hand washing, the wearing of the mask, all the good hygiene etiquette that we're supposed to do, if we don't do that 24/7 in our personal lives, then we will bring that into our school centers. And so it's important as adults that we don't get in large gatherings. It's important that when we're not in the school setting, when we're not at work, that we're practicing and demonstrating these good practices. Not enough adults are changing their outside habits, and that's key in our country. So I think that if we do that as a school district and we're vigilant with that and we hold each other accountable, that's going to be a positive step in the right direction. I think our two biggest challenges, number one is safety, and number two are teaching and learning, and how are we going to deliver that to our students. What's most important, whether you have a group of students in front of you or whether they're on a screen in front of you, is that as teachers, you've got to make that human connection. You've got to really work on those relationships. For some of you, that comes quite naturally, and you're pros at that. Others of us have to work on that sometimes. But we know the last 9 weeks last year, when I was talking to teachers and I talked to a lot of the students, those of you that have developed those positive relationships in person in the school setting were able to really transform and translate that and move it over to the virtual world as well. And that's going to be so crucial this year. The first few weeks of school, the first 20 days of school, we're going to be focusing really on the social emotional development of our children. Just as we do a wellness check to see how we're looking on the outside, it's important that as teachers and staff members, we're going to do a wellness check on the inside to see how our children are doing. These children, we haven't seen them for 22 weeks. almost 5.5 months, almost a half a year, really since March 13th. And for many of our teachers and staff members, you're seeing each other as well today for the first time in the same amount of time. And all of us have gone through some challenges. Some of them may have been financial. Your spouse or significant other may have lost their job. Illness, as we talked about, coming down with the COVID virus itself. Our kids have experienced these. Everything that we've experienced adults, our children have experienced. The social isolation, the growing concerns about racial inequity and those things that are occurring in our country. Limited access to food and support. School is crucial in providing those things for our children. We're there to teach and learn, yes, but we're also there to teach the total child and to make sure that they're okay, not only on the outside, but on the inside. For many of our children, their only safe haven is your classroom. Their only security during the school day is being with you, and their only warmth is your caring. So it's going to be important that we pay close attention to that with our children. And if you see any children displaying any of these symptoms or they're showing some kind of issues, it's important that you refer them to your counselors, and if we have to, we bring in outside support for these children. Just as important as checking on our kids and making sure they're okay, we as adults got to check on each other. So not only are we going to do a check to see how they're doing, but we've got to make sure that we're okay. Just as I talked about before, we've all had anxiety, we've all had stress, we've all been angry, we've all had fear and experienced that. And it's important that we don't let that overcome us. It's important that we keep our eye on our goal and our mission to educate these children in a safe and learning environment. So let's do a check on each other as well daily to make sure we're okay, because there are resources and avenues available to us to give us additional support. I'll end with this. People ask 3 questions of their leaders. Can you help me? Do you care about me? And can I trust you? And our children ask our teachers the same questions. Can you help me? Do you care about me? And can I trust you? And if I can answer yes to all 3 of those questions as the superintendent, and if you can answer yes to all 3 of those questions for your students, that's a step in the right direction as we do face this most challenging year. Our students are going to need us as the adults now more than ever, and we're going to need each other for quality advice and support now more than ever. So as we head back into the school, I want to welcome you back. I'm confident that we're going to be successful. So even though this could be our greatest challenge, it could also really be our greatest achievement that we've accomplished. We showed last year, the last 9 weeks, that we could turn on a dime, we could pivot and offer education and quality services to our children. Well, we've tapped into that, and now we can even do a better job as we go into the new school year. So let's work together as a team. Let's stay united together. Let's practice everything that we preach and demonstrate that. We're going to wear that mask. We're going to wash our hands, we're going to practice social distancing, we're going to keep our schools safe for our children, and we're going to have a great year. Thank you.